Hey guys, welcome back to Inner Peace Tarot. Today we are doing a general reading, just seeing what comes out. So we're going to go ahead and pick up on a specific storyline, and if it's your reading, amazing. If not, don't force it. So let's see who we're reading for today. All right, so we're reading for a collective of people who are understanding something that has been slowing them down. You've recently found clarity around something that has been stagnating a goal of yours. So let's look into the goal. So this is actually making me think of the last reading that I posted, where it was like how you're dealing with someone who is not embodying a secure attachment style. And it's kind of giving me like, if you've been dealing with people who are flighty or, non-committal with this Knight of Wands reversed, how you've been almost hyper committed to that energy and like actually trying to change or stop certain behaviors in them. And I'm seeing in this Emperor reversed, there's like this bird who I'm seeing as sort of like a spirit guide or even like your own intuition, sort of trying to get you to look at the world, your options outside of these connections. But it's such a small view and it's like so far in the back of your mind that all you could see was this room, right? This space for people like this. Who are just looking for like an adrenaline rush or I'm hearing something to cling on to. All right, so why is this clarity so important? You may have become like very hopeless in terms of finding people who are in alignment with you. Because again, in this forceful energy, I think anytime you're in a position where you're just trying to control everything, you're not seeing the full picture. So it was like the more energy you were putting into this thing that you didn't actually want, the more of it you were getting, the more of it you were seeing, the more of it the universe was giving to you because that's where your energy was going. Okay, so what we focus on is sort of what we tell the universe that we want more of. What we invest in. Yeah, you may have started to wonder, if this was something about you that was just simply attracted to people like this, or that made you attractive to people like this. I'm getting that like conversations may have been very ingenuine, like maybe one-sided. And so in placing boundaries around that, like that conversation space, or, you know, or in the control space, anytime you feel like, okay, now I have to control the situation. Now I have to control this other person. You notice that and you set boundaries around it to sort of, I'm hearing you reject it, to make space, to insist on an Ace of Cups connection. I'm hearing you're choosing peace. And again, the Queen of Swords, she's very well boundaried. Her boundaries are well communicated, always upheld, but not from this Emperor reverse space. She's not asking anyone to do anything or be any specific way. She just has a standard, and when it isn't being met, she takes that for what it is. So that's kind of what I see you doing now. Great, so what is this manifesting? So we jumped ahead a little bit. Spirit wants you to, in having this information and knowing what works better for you, or rather being very clear on what doesn't, I'm hearing notice the impulse. Maybe for some of you, you've been operating in this space, dealing with people like this for a very long time. So you may be in the habit, you may have developed this impulse to love in a way that people with this Knight of Wands reversed energy are used to loving. Again, these are people who are non-committal, who are kind of just constantly looking for their next flame, right? They're literally flames in this card. I'm hearing they really don't care what you have to say. It's just very much based on the moment and like ideas, and you know, wands are in idea space. It's creative energy, but as far as like connections go, it can be you know, the idea of what someone could be for them. It's kind of a self-serving energy. Okay, so maybe one way that this collective used to, like I said, give love to people like this, who were in that room, in that space, that you could level with them, was sort of feeling this like impulse to justify your needs. or feeling the need to rationalize their actions or their inaction. And I'm hearing that that's not something that the Queen of Swords is inclined to do. But again, it's going to be an impulse. You've been doing this for a while, so you're just being guided to notice when you want to show up for someone stable or secure the way that you would have shown up for this Knight of Wands reversed energy. It's like this idea that you sort of teach people how to treat you. And sort of over-explaining your needs, you're cultivating an environment where your needs need to be justified in the future, and they don't. So this impulse, this way of loving of your past, even if you find someone secure, if you are going in with the same approach where, again, you're justifying your needs to them, you're planting a seed for this sort of imbalance that you would have in your other relationships, even if the person is secure. Okay, so when you do feel that impulse come up, when you do have a need that you need to express to this new secure person or people in your life, catch the impulse and notice which one of your fears is telling you that you have to justify it. And let your higher self sort of speak to that fearful space. What is the fear here? I think just that, like, you'll be perceived as needing too much. And that they'll go for somebody easier. Not wanting to burden the other person, and in particular for this collective, not wanting to burden this secure person with your boundaries around your independence. So let's just say that you require a lot of alone time. Yeah. Let's just say you require a lot of alone time. If you're dating someone and maybe the norm, especially with this Knight of Wands energy reversed, is very, we're gonna spend every single day together until we burn out. That's just what I'm getting. That's technically too much for you and your Queen of Swords state. You still want to spend time with yourself. You still like time alone with yourself. And you're kind of afraid that if you communicate that with new people in your life, that I'm hearing they aren't going to get a need met, where they need to have that constant time with you, and they will seek that out in another relationship. So what is Spirit? Actually, I'm feeling guided to ask what your higher self has to say about that fear. Okay, so if that boundary being set is not compatible, does not work for the other person, you've been spared of a commitment with someone who, again, you're not compatible with. You know, you're in an energy space where this Ace of Cups is not rooted in being needed. The emotional fulfillment for you comes from two people choosing something, two people choosing each other, not coming together because there is a reliance. So trust that if something falls away after you communicate a boundary from this space, this well-boundaried, reasonable, authentic space, that you were spared of a commitment that was not meant to work out, that was not going to work with your lifestyle or your priorities. And vice versa for the other person. Your independence, your need for space should be looked at as a need. And for this person who may need the constant validation, the constant availability, that needs to be looked at as a need as well. I think where people really get stuck in connections that they aren't compatible with is when both parties are sort of watering down their needs and are very quick to compromise on them, just so that they can, try out the space or whatever. But you're coming out of a season where you've tried the space. Like you're very acquainted with this room. And you're just starting to listen to this part of yourself that's trying to show you an entire other world of options, new experiences, new perspectives. So you don't need to try out the space. You know what that feels like already. All right, anything else for this collective? You may be very guarded about, apprehensive to start something up that is just going to end right away. And I just saw the Page of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck. And I'm kind of seeing that as like, that's why when you do this, you try out these new experiences and you do communicate certain needs right from the jump. You do this before you put all your eggs in that basket. So upright, the Page of Pentacles is, you know, it can talk about investment. And you're not investing in something that is short term anymore. So trust that this boundary setting, this very, again, reasonable approach that you're taking toward identifying an Ace of Cups situation. I mean, this is like peaceful, not forced, but very much emotionally fulfilling. Trust that in insisting on that through your boundaries and not lowering your standards for anyone, you will not be in a situation again where you've invested in something that is not sustainable. Beautiful. So the Queen of Cups fell out, the Sun, the Justice card. You do not need to be this icy, aloof, detached person to obtain your Ace of Cups. It's just identifying what is too much? What costs too much for you? What is asking of too much of your energy in relationships? Identify those specific things. So that when you do meet someone who can honor those boundaries and, you know, mutually respect and protect your sense of independence, you can show up for them in an emotional way. So basically what I'm getting from that is just like, you being choosy is not you being emotionally unavailable. You being selective and taking your time is not you being that aloof, icy, closed off partner that you seem to be dreading being. The Queen of Cups is emotional, she's kind, she's empathetic, she's compassionate, but she's not naive. And that's sort of the idea here. Anything else? Yeah. Stay prioritizing this Nine of Pentacles energy, so that when this does show up, without you having to let up on this independence that you have worked so hard to build in yourself, in your own life, you can give to it fully. All right, so this is very good energy. Congratulations on recognizing, you know, the part that you played in imbalanced connections of your past. It's a very accountable, productive energy space to be in, and I definitely see it serving you. I think once you break free from that sort of impulse to approach new people the way that you used to approach people in your past, this Ace of Cups will feel a lot more foreseeable, a lot more possible for you specifically, without compromising on your needs. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful, insightful, confirmational, all of the above. If this was helpful or interesting or anything like that, go ahead and give it a like. Super helpful for me. And yeah, I hope you have a great Leo season.